both the Pokemon TCG Live and the Pokemon TCG Simulator both got big updates. Although the Pokemon TCG Live one, unsurprisingly, was a bit more disappointing with a recent letter to the community, which was promised to us before the end of the year, and it delivered coming out on the 29th of December. We're going to take a look at it, and it says Happy Holidays. We're going to focus on improvements. I'm just going to read out that the team has brought to the TCG Live game in recent updates. So they've done some updates as well. Let's actually look at how many updates they've done. Um, I actually don't know. It's kind of hard to find, but they've done some, and this is going to be since August. And that means that that was a big ways away, and so they haven't actually made that many updates, and I mean major updates. They've essentially made, in my opinion, 0 major updates since then. Of course, they have added new sets, which is a big deal. But aside from that, they haven't really done bug fixes. Notably, the most major bug is the not being able to log in. There's also the card. They had some card selection issues, which I think they've kind of fixed, but kind of not fixed as well. It's super hard to figure out about those ones. Client just isn't super nice overall. But so they said phase 1 of this new performance initiative to optimize and enhance performance for a more positive player experience has rolled out. Now, what does that mean? Those are some fancy words, I guess. They're not like super fancy, but they're like kind of like buzzwords that you want to include on like things to make them sound more fancy. And at the end, they don't really mean anything. It's a bit confusing what this means. It kind of makes it sound like they think they fixed it, which they obviously have not fixed much of anything. The Live's client it does have some things that are going for it, right? Good economy, and you can kind of play the game, but like it doesn't have lots of modes, and it doesn't have it doesn't consistently work, and it's like super hot when it runs. And it can't be played on certain devices like at all, or it'll just like explode, or it just won't load in the first place. Not actually explode, but like just get really hot. I have definitely been concerned about my computer overheating and then like breaking, I'll say. But or maybe more so my phone. My computer is pretty beefy. I'm still a little concerned about it. But anyways, so that's kind of weird. This plan has multiple stages that will continue into next year as the team identifies new ways to advance the client. I feel like they don't need to invent new ways. It's not well the new ways from what they've been doing. So hopefully that's what they're talking about. Hopefully because obviously the community has given a lot of feedback. Oh, and this I should say this is posted on the forums. Previously they posted a letter. This is where they posted like all their letters, but not this one. I'm not really sure why it's not here. I will have the link to, I guess. I'll have a link to the new letter. I probably won't have one to the old letter because it doesn't really matter. And then so they're gonna improve the game next year. That's vague, but good, I guess. I mean, it is good, right? But it doesn't really mean much. Our latest updates introduced work from phase 1 that will help see more consistent FPS rate on devices, increased responsiveness within the deck manager. So I don't know this deck manager thing. I have not noticed any changes, although I'm sure there were some. I can't think of any though. The more consistent FPS thing was they actually like dropped the visual quality. Honestly, I think it's fair, but a lot of people have complained about it as well now that the like lines are all jagged looking. And the game does look worse, I will say. I didn't notice it at first, but when someone pointed out, it's like I thought it just always looked bad, but no, it looks worse because now the lines aren't the like diagonal lines are just jagged. So anyway, they've I guess quote fixed something, but they didn't really fix it. They changed it. Arguably, it's worse for some people. It's definitely better, but at the end of the day, that's just a change, which was arguably an improvement, arguably not. And then the deck manager, obviously that was something that was criticized. I don't really know what this responsiveness with the deck manager actually means though. Um, so like I can't think of they make updates that are kind of vague, and those are both obviously vague things. With this work, we've also reduced on-load launch times by up to 40%. That being said, the big issue is for some people it doesn't load at all. So 40% of 40%. So 40% of infinite is still 40 or is still infinite. So at that point, I guess that's true. I mean, it's not really true though. I mean, it's like technically true. They could say they reduced load times by like 90% or something. You could put any number there, and it's technically true, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't load. And then for some people it does load, but I don't think it loads nicely. Anyways, still it still gets stuck. and still like it's not fast. It's a nice improvement, but it's not that important. Cards do load, I guess, better. I don't know. I still definitely have issues in games where like a card doesn't load super quickly, but I guess it's gotten a little better. New alerts have been set up to improve the way the team gathers data, so you can more easily identify pain points players may experience with the devices. I honestly have no idea what this means because they've had this forum, which is actively used to report bugs, and they just ignore them. So maybe they're not going to ignore them. There are also support tickets, which they also sometimes ignore. Um, but yeah, I don't really know. Uh, I think it's kind of weird and kind of confusing how Pokemon's doing it because they're just not paying attention. Then they sent out surveys and they like didn't let people participate in the surveys, and then they didn't like read the surveys. And I don't actually know if they didn't read. They might have read them, but I heard from some people that they didn't. And they don't read the sport tickets and they don't read the forums. So I mean, it doesn't matter. They have ways. They have this. I think the forums is the biggest way, which people report issues, but they just don't read the things, which is hopefully that this means that they're going to read the things, which I guess is what it means. Hopefully that's what it means. Um, in addition, the team has been working on new features coming to the game. This is the big one, and this is a battle log. A battle log has been desperately needed. More so. Well, okay, let's see what they say about it, but I'll say why it is needed after that. This new feature aims to provide new and seasoned players with a comprehensive understanding of gameplay and the ability to dissect their match. As details become available, we'll speak to this and more about our initiatives next year. So that means it's not coming up this year, obviously. I think this video is coming up before New Year's, but very not a ton before. And then let's see. So they're gonna do it next year, probably. They didn't even say they're gonna do it next year, but honestly, like they've set it up so that now they can say, "Oh, we're gonna do something next year," which gives them like so much time to do it. So, which means they're just gonna procrastinate more, which is what they've done. They like waited until the last day to do this letter, which doesn't really say much. So now they are adding a game log, which is really nice. But also it's kind of weird. Like, okay, game logs are not, they are useful. So PTCG had a game log, which was okay, but it didn't include everything. So at the end of the day, if you want to dissect your gameplay after you played it, you should record it. That's what I do. I obviously record my gameplay. I honestly don't look back at it that often, but sometimes I do. And recording is useful. It actually, you get to see the game and see what's happening. A game log could be potentially very useful. Hopefully, it's a game log that then you can like watch, like import the game, like so you export the game log, right? And PTGO had that, and you could re-import it back into some replay viewer. That would be nice. Presumably they're not doing that. They probably would say that, but presumably they're not, and that's obviously a lot more work. And so I'd understand if they don't. Then the bigger issue and why it's so important is because of bugs. Bugs are really a big issue in the game. They've done some bug fixes, but it's more honestly, game log is probably one of the first things you should add to a game because then you know when things aren't working. And obviously, live has issues. It's often hard to track down issues. And you see something and you're playing, you see something weird, and you don't know if it's a bug or if it's just you like, oh, miss something, which is possible. Of course, people miss things all the time, and there are bugs all the time as well. So it's really hard to know. You can look at the surrounding things, and generally better players are more able to identify bugs. And people like I have a lot of knowledge of the way the game works, so probably most of the time I know when something's a bug and not a bug, but not all the time. And I play the game too much. If some like regular player who like is not completely obsessed with Pokemon, I know they're obsessed with it, plays it, they're not going to necessarily know what's a bug and what's not a bug. And this is what you see on the forums. You see people reporting these bugs but but they're honestly not really sure what's happening, and then the people responding aren't really sure what's happening because there is no game log, and game logs are like it's super necessary for bug fixes specifically. It is nice for being able to like look back at your footage as well, which is moderately useful. But it can be very useful, but as I said, it's a little clunky as well because you're just reading some text. PTCG Sim. Yeah, I have it opened. I'm gonna open it. Just gonna start a random game. Let's import a few random decks. Um, and then I honestly have no idea what these decks are. Oops, there we go, import. So if you do this, and I'm gonna set up both, and I'm gonna like start dragging stuff around. Obviously, I'm not like playing the game by the rules or anything, but I'm just like playing random cards and then doing this. I'm doing this on both sides. Then I'm gonna go like flip coins and then do this. Obviously, this is just weird stuff, but at the end of the day, stuff like this Can't happen, but the game log's going to look something like this, and you see this, and instantly you have no idea what's going on. Of course, if it was an actual game, you'd have more of an idea, but at a glance, you don't know what's happening, versus when you look at the board, you're like, oh yeah, this is happening, this not fake board is happening. So you have that major difference of direct replay is much more useful for studying, and like actually seeing the board is much more useful and honestly important than actually like a game log, although a game log is nice. So this is a nice addition. But that's the only thing they're saying. And that's like nice, but it is something people have been asking, and I think it's good, but I mean there are just bigger needs. Obviously the game needs to work. That is the biggest need. I'm not disappointed by a game log. I think it's good. As I said, it's something that should have been there since the beginning because it's important for bug fixes, but the game has like ironed out a decent chunk of the bugs, I guess. So that's not as necessary. And these are in-game bugs as well. It's not going to help iron out bugs that are like the not logging in bug or whatever, or not being able to select cards bug. The game battle log will not help with that. So I don't know. We'll see here what happens with this. Hopefully this becomes something. I guess yeah. And then PTCG Sim though I said also has news. One, let's actually reset these. So this is an older deck. Oh, this isn't as old as I thought. So they have older decks. I don't know when which update this was, but they had some new updates. Oh, we need to scroll up here. So 1.0.1. So this was updated on New Year's Eve. There we go. We see it here. We're going to talk about this as well. And so there is a Discord server that should be linked down below, either in the description or in the pinned comment. If I forget, someone remind me, and that it will be probably in the pinned comment then. But it'll be in one of those places. And so there are some new features and bug fixes and coming soon features. So I'll talk about the new features and bug fixes are kind of similar, but I'll talk about bug fixes first, which is live does not do. They every once in a while do something, but the PTCG Sim, which as I said, I think it needs a new name, PTCG Sim, as I said before, I think in the last video, but I've said it in the Discord server, is like a bad name. It's not like awful. It is exactly what it is. But I think it could. I mean, it has it doesn't have no personality, but it has very little. And I think giving me personality would be really nice. So if any of you down below have ideas for that, suggest them or suggest them to me as well, and I'll suggest them to Xiao Xiao Long, and then we'll go from there. Xiao Xiao Long, abbreviated here as XXL, is the I guess lead developer. I don't think they're the only developer. Oops, I closed it. So bug fixes: changing the card types now properly. Updates on the opponent's player side in 2-player. I honestly don't know. So let's see. I'll take out Celebi, and then I'll take out Super Rod. So if I attach Super Rod to Celebi, it's a trainer, I believe is its type. So now it's going to be attached. But if I want to say evolve it into Super Rod, so you can do, there are not a lot of uses for this. I actually don't know how to do this. Move card. I don't know. There's some way to change the type. I completely forget. But there's a way to change the card's type, which allows you to attach it. Yeah, I don't remember where this is. I can press Alt P. So if I want this to be a Pokemon, I can select it, press Alt P. There we go. Now it's a Pokemon. Oh, I guess it needs to be here. I don't know, but you can do a hotkey. So then I can I don't know. There's a way to do this, and it allows you. It's useful for like there's some Pokemon cards that attach themselves as energy, and that's the reason to do it. I don't actually know. But oh yeah, okay, there. Then you can just attach it. So you need to move it to the board and then change its type. So I don't really know. It's a very niche feature, but that is a feature that is added, and it's one that you might need. So that's good. Then you can oh, so then they oh, I guess the menu is to the right to prevent overlap. I don't actually know what that means. Let's see. So I'm not sure. I'll ask about that later. But you can change the type there. And then battle log now conceals the name of a hidden card when dragging to a new zone. This is more important in 2-player. That you don't want to be like revealing what you're doing to your opponent. Obviously that matters. Any cards in the stadium are now properly removed upon reset. That was like a minor bug that was just like honestly a stupid mistake. I think the person who coded it accidentally deleted a line of code, so they fixed that. Um, that was something easy. Deck list menu now resizes based on window size. Okay, so I don't know. I guess that was I don't know what that issue was, but that's fixed. Deck list errors on the heart the what era? What is the HS era? Is that Heart Gold Soul Silver? Is that something? I don't know. But that era are now fixed. Yeah, I think that's Heart Gold Soul Silver. And then classification errors of cards from Hidden Fates expansion are now fixed. I don't know. I guess they're Pokemon has some weird ways of classifying sets, so that has been fixed. And then the new features, the big thing. Right-click menu for your opponent's hand now. The option to reveal a card from their hand. So let's see how this works. I think these features are out. Yeah. So let's set up both. So, I'm in this, so I can reveal random card. That's kind of useless. So I'm going to hide it, and then I can reveal a random card. There we go. So we see a random card, and then there we go. That's useful. So that's useful for this. That they said attacks like astonished that see a random card, which is fine. There wasn't really a way to do that before, so that's nice. Obviously not a particularly important thing, but can matter from time to time. Now, revealing and hiding cards are now two separate keybinds, which is nice. And then deck discard lost zone headers are now frozen when scrolling at the top. So this is important. So when I'm doing this, I can previously this shuffle, close, and sort menu was not. It would like scroll, so you'd scroll down, you wouldn't see it, so you couldn't close it. But now you can, which is really nice. That's a nice feature. And is better, I think. I did not report that, like say that was a necessary change, but I do believe it was, and it's nice that's changed. The UI and UX of dragging and clicking on cards should now be easier and more intuitive. Honestly, I did not think it was that bad before, but any improvement is nice. The changing card type now is keybinds, as we looked at that. When viewing cards from top, bottom of your opponent's deck, images are now right side up. Yeah, so previously, like stuff could be upside down in your opponent's deck. So when I look at the top card, yeah, I guess it was, oh yeah, it was upside down before. Yeah, and I remember that now. So that's fine. How do I close this? I'm not actually sure how to close this. I don't know. I guess it's probably you're supposed to do something with it after. So that's fine. And then I think that's about it. Then we need to go look at coming soon features. And if you want to look at this, of course, the link to the simulator will be down below as well. Coming soon, fixing desync issues and adding a refresh resync feature. That is a very big deal. Desyncing is bad. It happens in live. Live, it's actually worse in live than with PTCG Sim. Live, it just like stops, and then you're just kind of confused for like a minute, and then you realize that you've like lost the game, even though it doesn't say that. This was really bad. In the simulator, it's just confusing. But there is a game chat, so you can chat to your opponent. And then on top of that, things will still happen. It'll just be wrong. Things will happen that they'll be wrong with the things that happen, but it tries to work with what it's got. Live just kind of gives up. Honestly, neither of them really. It's bad, but I think it is technically playable as well. You can play through the chat. That's not great, but this is being worked on and fixed. I think it's a bigger issue to being fixed, but I think it's pretty close. Attaching cards on opponent's side, such as Headringer, is coming soon. This is a very niche feature, but it's there are some Team Flare Team Flare tools that like attach to your opponent's playground. Super niche, but important. Custom card backs, that's cool, I guess. I don't really know the use of that, but that's fine. It's giving it some more personality, which, as I said, is good. Selecting multiple cards at once could be useful, making things faster. And then a feature to draw arrow to and from cards. I guess like chess. So if you haven't played chess on like chess.com, or I imagine other things, I think Lichess might. I don't really play chess much, but you can draw arrows from chess like pieces or board spaces to like do stuff. I honestly don't know exactly what it's supposed to be useful for. If you're coaching, if you're commentating, if you're playing, seems cool. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video though. Remember also there's a giveaway on my channel that will be done tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow. I will be checking in on that, and I might extend it, but I don't plan on extending it right now. So you can win packs and stuff. It's codes, so some of the codes are not packs, but most of them are. For live, obviously we talked about live, and the PTCG Sim and live are very different. They really, they're not the same thing. But I'm interested in seeing how both of them develop. I'm more skeptical about live. This Letter is okay. It's very vague, which is a bit of a problem. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what both of these do. I hope both of them improve a lot and blossom into their own great things. I hope you enjoyed though. Subscribe if you did. I'm excited to see you in the next video, and also Happy New Year.